Hey, it's Eben. In the first two videos in this series, which you can watch here on the blog if you haven't seen them yet, you learned about how the information product, the advice, and the coaching business categories are growing very fast, which is great for all of us because these are businesses that really help people. You also learned how to target highly profitable niches, and you learned about the proven niches that work right now and will continue to work long into the future. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to make information far more valuable and how to format it and package it up into products so others will pay you high prices for it. Again, by combining the right mindset with the right niche and then the right product, you can achieve massive success selling information products, advice, and coaching online. This video is called Content is Cash, and I call it that because information that has been packaged up in the form of advice, of coaching, and information products, what we're going to call content in this video, is possibly the biggest opportunity for regular people who want to help others to turn their knowledge, their interests, and their experience into money and income. And even more interesting, content is now becoming marketing. In fact, there's a new term that's being thrown around in business, and it's called content marketing. You can even find it on Wikipedia if you look it up. The point is that great content, great information, great training, great knowledge that's packaged up in the right way is now becoming marketing. What this means is that your high quality content, your information, your articles, your training, it's going to get you higher search engine rankings, it's going to get you lots more traffic. It's actually the thing I believe that gets you all the partners, the JV partners, when you do product launches, those that sell all your stuff for you. It attracts people to you to build a list. What I'm trying to say is that content is now the path to success, to fame, and to cash online. So I've got a question for you. Why do some information products sell for very high prices and sell tons of them, while most information products don't sell at all? Why do some coaches and consultants and advisors have tons of clients paying them very high prices while most don't? Here in my hand, I'm holding a $100 bill. It's the real thing. At least I hope so. And here in my other hand, I'm holding a $1 bill. Now, my friend Joe Polish pointed something out to me a few years ago. Right? He pointed out by asking me a question, and the question goes like this. What's the difference between these two bills? In other words, why does one of these pieces of paper buy you 100 times as much as the other? I mean, really, why is this one worth 100 times as much as this one? And why does it buy 100 times as much? Well, the answer is very interesting. The difference is the message that's printed on the different bills, okay? Same paper, same ink. They look basically identical to someone who doesn't know what American money looks like, but the difference is huge if you happen to have, say, 100 of these $100 bills versus 100 of these $1 bills, okay? Now, I've got another question. What's the difference between an information product that sells for, say, $5,000 versus one that sells for $50? And yes, many information products have sold for $5,000 or more. I've personally sold trainings, information products, and coaching programs that have sold for upwards of $12,000 to $24,000 each. Let's ask another question. What's the difference between a coach that charges $25 an hour versus one that charges $2,500 per hour? And yes, I've paid $2,500 per hour for coaching, by the way. In my very first business training video that I put up on YouTube a few years ago, I compared this book right here, which was priced at $1,000 when it was new, to another regular book that might sell for 10 or 20 bucks. Let me say that again. This book right here, right, this one, Stealth Marketing by J. Abraham, sold for $1,000 when it was new. $1,000 for a book, all right? Now, in that video I just mentioned, which you can still see on YouTube, it's had something like 93,000 people watch it so far, I was communicating that you can control the value of what you're selling if you know what to put inside of your content or your product, and then how to translate that value into terms that your prospect can understand. You can sell high-priced information, advice, and coaching, information products, if you know what to put into the product, what to put into the content, and how to translate the value so that your prospective customer pays you high prices for it. So again, let's talk about this word content. What is content? Content is printed articles or books. It's audio recordings. It's interviews. It's videos. It's newsletters. It's what's inside of your membership site. And it's information products, which is my favorite kind. An article in Cosmopolitan magazine is content. A podcast is content. This video that you're watching right now is content. Content is printed, audio, or video training or communication. And online content is content that's available to be downloaded, streamed, or viewed online, and it even includes things like software and music. But in my opinion, the most valuable content, the content that you can sell for very, very high prices, right? That content is called advice and training. Information products, advice, and coaching are all basically content. So content is the word that we're going to use in this video to describe these elements. Now here's why this is really important. You may have heard the phrase, content is king. Have you heard that? It's a saying that's been going around the internet now for almost 15 years. And content is king is the title of an article that Bill Gates wrote back in 1996, right? And Bill Gates, the richest man in the world for many, many years, wrote this famous article called Content is King back before anyone was even thinking in this way. And in the article, Bill explained how content was going to be the opportunity, the big opportunity online. Here are a couple of direct quotes from the article. Quote, "Content is where I expect much of the real money will be made on the internet, just as it was in broadcasting." Another quote, "No company is too small to participate. One of the exciting things about the internet is that anyone with a PC and modem can publish whatever content they can create. In a sense, the internet multimedia equivalent of the photocopier. It allows material to be duplicated at low cost no matter the size of the audience." And then one final quote from the article. "The internet also allows information to be distributed worldwide at basically zero marginal cost to the publisher." Zero marginal cost. Opportunities are remarkable, and many companies are laying plans to create content for the internet. Well, billions and billions and billions of dollars later in online sales, everyone is starting to really get the message. Do you remember the chart that I showed you in the first video in this series of ebook sales growth just last year? Okay, what about iTunes, right? Over 10 billion songs sold now. All online content. What about the Kindle? Millions of Kindles sold, right? Kindle ebook readers. Millions of just the reader sold already. And what about the opportunities to get free traffic online? Check out YouTube, right? Have you done any work on YouTube? Our YouTube channel that we started about 3 years ago, where we've uploaded several videos, just little samples of our content from some of our training programs, we've got 797,000 people that have watched my videos on YouTube. And I've done very little promotion of those videos, okay? They're just finding them. And maybe the most exciting of all, right? I mentioned earlier that great content is what gets other people to sell your stuff for you. We've now done several million-dollar-plus online product launches, all with free content, just like the content you're watching right now. And there's much, much, much more that you can get from creating great content. So based on that, I have a new quote for you. You might want to write this one down. Okay? It's content is cash. Content is cash. Knowing how to create valuable content is the road to cash online. It's the modern way to make money working from home on the internet, whether it be from products, from marketing, from advice, from coaching, or anything else. Now the important part. As I hinted in the first video in this series, good content in the form of products, articles, videos, advice, and coaching is becoming the new currency. And here's the interesting part. It's not optional anymore. Even businesses that sell hard goods like food or electronics or houses must become good content creators. If someone's going to buy your stuff, they want to know about it. And if you're going to present it in its best light, you must learn to create valuable content. As my friend Alex Mondosian says, every business is an information business. Now that the internet exists, every business is in the information business. Now at this point you might be asking yourself, what does it take to create really good content, high quality content? It used to be that content took a lot of work to create, design, and publish. Up until very recently, it required lots of expensive video and audio equipment, or printing presses, and professionals to do editing and run all the gear, and then duplicate a bunch of tapes or discs or books, and then put it in warehouses and then ship it out, and a million other things that cost a lot of money. What I want to do right now is I want to show you what it takes to create valuable, high-quality content. All right? Now, I'm going to grab my Macintosh computer here, again, to make it look as much like a Mac ad as possible. And I want to do my best to show you the real process of what it's like to create valuable content that you can put online and you can sell. Okay, so thanks to the magic of screen capture software, I'm going to show you everything that I'm doing right here on the computer as I'm doing it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my presentation software. I'm using a Mac, so I'm using Keynote. If you have a PC, you can use PowerPoint. There are other programs you can get online. And I'll choose a template here. We'll choose the black template because our theme is black. And then we'll put some content in the content. How to target a money-making information niche online. And we'll add some bullets. Pull this down here a little bit so we can see them. Start with the big three mega niches. Narrow from there. Next, identify a big common problem that you know how to solve. Next, narrow your niche to only those with the biggest need. Okay, great. Now let's do a little design here. Maybe make this red. I like red. Go over here. Align this to the left. Align this one to the left. Move this up a little bit. Maybe add some bullets here. Make it look nice. Yeah, that's looking better. Maybe make this text bold. Oh yeah, now it's really starting to come together. Go over here and add some spacing between these. Yeah, that's looking better. Whoops. Yeah, like that. There we go. Next, what I'll do is I'll duplicate this so I don't have to do my design all over again. And we'll make a new slide. So, how to create an information product fast. Put some new bullets. Get ScreenFlow or Camtasia software. Next, create a simple presentation with PowerPoint or Keynote. Next, choose a simple professional layout, which you just saw me do and which we're doing now. Next, record a video and compress with software, which I'll teach you how to do in a moment. And then finally, upload to members area site or YouTube. All right, great. Design these here, move that up a little bit. Great, so now we have two slides, simple. Let's add a little bit of flair. We'll duplicate this slide just so we have the background. Here we got black. We duplicate that, so we've got one at the beginning and one at the end. And what I'll do is I'll add one of these fancy transitions that they've got here. Where is that again? All right, here's the transition. You can use some nice things here. We can do like a revolve. That's professional. Or maybe we can use a different one. I actually like this twist one here. This one's kind of cute. Let's see what this looks like. Oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, good. Next, I'm going to use that software I just mentioned called ScreenFlow, and we'll start that up. And then we'll go New Recording. And this is cool, because what this does is this records your desktop and your audio, and it'll record here. As you can see, I'll click this box from the built-in camera, or if you've got a webcam. You can see, let me adjust my screen there. Got my lights in my background, so I have to stand still. Okay, and then I'm going to press record. And what this is going to do is it's going to record everything that's going on my desktop, and the audio, and that little camera. And the software costs, I think it's $97 online. And then watch this. Hi, I'm Eben Pagan, and I'm going to teach you how to target a money-making information niche online, and then how to create an information product fast. So first, how to target a money-making information niche online. First, start with the big 3 mega niches and narrow from there. You want to start with a winning niche and then choose a niche inside of that niche so that you know that you have the highest probability of success. Second, identify a big common problem that you know how to solve. Right? So once you've narrowed down within the big 3 mega niches, you're going to identify a big common problem you know how to solve. And then finally, you're going to narrow your niche to only those prospects or customers who have the biggest need, because you want people who have the highest probability of buying, people that are going to give you the most money. Next, let's talk about how to create an information product fast. First, I recommend that you get a program like ScreenFlow or Camtasia, if you're using a PC, which records the desktop, just like we're doing right here. Create a simple presentation with PowerPoint or Keynote, which you just saw me do from scratch. Choose a simple professional layout, okay, not too fancy, but something that looks really nice. Finally, record a video and then compress with the built-in compressor in the software, and then upload to a members area site or to YouTube. And then we transition out. Great. Okay, so we created our presentation, and then we recorded. And now watch what ScreenFlow does. Look at how cool this is. So now what you can see is a recording of my screen on my desktop, and you can see the webcam here. And in fact, if I just press play here, you'll see me moving, and you can see that if I actually grab this little slider here, you'll see the computer moving around in the background. All right, good. Now, what's super cool is that you can do little effects. So I can actually grab this desktop recording of the screen, okay, and I can move this around. I can place it wherever I want. I can grab the recording of me. I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller. I can move it around. So I'm going to just take this. I'm going to make it bigger. And I'm going to take this one of me, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Kind of put it about right here. Now watch this. You can actually move these around, and you can rotate them for the final video. Right? They've just made this foolproof, so you don't have to have fancy editing gear. Here you can turn it, you can twist it. I'll angle this maybe like that, because it's kind of cool to have an angle. I'll do me the other direction a little bit. It's good. Since we had the background that's black, I'll make this much bigger. I'll kind of put it about right there. Here, you can even do this. Watch this. I'm going to put a reflection underneath my video, right? Just like in those fancy Mac designs. Right? So you can see when I move this back and forth, see the reflection under the video. It's very cool. Great. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Excellent. Got to rotate myself a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. That looks cool. There we go. Great. Now watch this. Let me go back to the beginning of this. And then watch what happens when I press play from here. Hi, I'm Eben Pagan, and I'm going to teach you how to target a money-making information niche online, and then how to create an information product fast. So first, how to target a money-making information niche online. First, so the idea is play it all the way through there. Okay, cool. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go File and Export. And you can see that right here, it'll create a standard compressed file for you. It'll do it in high quality, low quality. Press the export button, and you're done. You got a video that you can start uploading literally right now. And by the way, this program, as well as Camtasia, they've got advanced editing features. You can do all kinds of cool stuff in here. They really, really are amazing. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a view into what it takes to create high-quality content, high-quality information products that you can literally use, within minutes after creating them. And what did that take me? 5 minutes to do that whole thing from start to finish with no fancy software, with no fancy editing, with nothing? Okay, so what could you do if you put a little bit of time into it? I probably spent 20 or 30 minutes preparing for that. And you know what most of the time was spent doing? Most of the time was spent trying to figure out how I was going to get a screen recording of the software that was doing a screen recording. And I downloaded a free trial of another program to do that, and that's how we did it. What's my point here? That you can now create very professional content, products, and presentations with just a computer and some inexpensive software. Now, I could take this video, I could export it, upload it to YouTube, and have a landing page video. I could have it working in probably 20 or 30 minutes. In fact, the landing page videos that I've created for these videos, okay, the ones that we're offering right now, have been written, shot, and edited in probably 20 or 30 minutes. Simple. And many of the products that I market, some of my most successful products were created by doing live trainings and then audio recording and filming them and then selling them as the product. And I personally like having an audience when I'm creating my programs, but several of my programs, like my famous Wake Up Productive program, were created just standing in front of a camera with no audience, just like the video I'm creating right now. What if you want to create an ebook? Well, you just take your Microsoft Word file or your document, you make a simple PDF, which can be read on basically anything, including Kindles and iPhones, and you can even get free software online to convert literally any printed material to a PDF as well. The point is that now it's your choice. You have options. This is how I created my products myself, and since the obstacle is no longer needing to come up with a $50,000 investment just to film a video or create an audio program and then duplicate it and print it, and now that you can create written, audio, video, and offer just about any type of advice and coaching with little or no expense up front, the real questions become, how do I create a product that people want to buy? How do I create a product that sells for a high price so it's profitable? In other words, how do I create a product that literally sells itself? Now, these are great questions. So let's land the plane, right? Let's bring it in for a landing and talk about how to format and structure your information and present it so that it becomes massively valuable to your prospective customer. And then let's learn how to explain the value so that people will want to pay you high prices for it. Remember in the last video how you learned how to target a niche? And how I explained that you can't just dress up something that isn't a solution and then try to convince people to buy it? Targeting your niche right, okay, nailing it by finding the big problem that your prospective customer is trying to solve, this is a big piece of the equation. That's why we dedicated this whole last video and the report and the exercises to it. But once you've identified the problem that your prospects are having, that you are going to solve with your information product or your coaching, you must then structure your solution and present it in a format that your customer sees or hears about and says, wow, now that sounds exactly like what I need to solve my problem. It's not enough that it is what solves their problem. It must then sound like what's going to solve their problem and look like, appear like it's going to solve their problem. And those are very different. A smart person once told me, you can't convince anyone of anything. You can only give them the right information so they convince themselves. Right? That's a very important insight. Okay, so let's say that you're going to market an ebook online for $50 on how to get a date, which I've done, by the way. Sold a lot of dating advice. Now, let me try two different approaches to explaining what's in the book. And I want you to listen to these two different ways of explaining what's inside of a book, and you tell me which one sounds more valuable. Okay? Example number 1. Hi, I'm a PhD in psychology with 20 years of clinical experience in relationship counseling, and I've received numerous awards for my innovative research and books. In my book, Finding Compatibility, I explain the psychology of compatibility, how it works, and how to experience it. All right, here's example number 2. If you're a single man and you're afraid of even talking to an attractive woman, you're about to learn a foolproof 10-word phrase that you can use to start a conversation with any woman in any situation, plus a little trick that guarantees that you won't get rejected. It's all inside of my new book. All right, so what's the difference? Well, hopefully you can hear that in the first example, it's all about the author. Okay? It uses the words I and I'm and my over and over and over. The second example, the focus is on the potential customer and solving their needs. Even more importantly, it adds a critical element. It touches on the specific things that are important to the prospective customer. And it also says, I know what these things are and I'm going to help you solve them. Okay, the fear, the exact words, how to overcome. Okay? Now a couple of notes. I am not a PhD with any clinical experience. But if I was, I could figure out how to frame that so it was an advantage to the customer. I wouldn't say I'm a PhD. I would say I spent 8 years studying exactly what it takes to approach and start a conversation with an attractive member of the opposite sex. And I'm going to teach you exactly what I learned. Even better, you could say, I'm going to take what I learned in 8 years of studying psychology and human behavior, and I'm going to sum it up into a 1-hour course that teaches you only the things you need to know to start conversations with attractive women. Okay, in other words, I'm going to figure out how to frame it as an advantage. I'm going to take my PhD and make it an advantage. I'm not going to talk about myself. Remember the $100 bill and the $1 bill? Just a slightly different message makes all the difference. Okay, the difference between those two messages that I just gave you could make the difference between selling 100 books and selling 1 book. And finally, let's talk for a minute about the psychology of how a person values information. Okay, back to the $100 bill and the $1 bill. What's the difference again? It's the information that's printed on them. But how do you know that they're worth different amounts? How did you learn it in the first place? Well, someone had to teach you. You had to learn. Information and information products are exactly the same way. Different information is worth very different amounts of money. For example, Jay Abraham's book that sold new for $1,000, in order to get $1,000 for the book, Jay, right, he had to know how to explain the value of what was in the book to others. Human beings don't know how to value information, so you must teach them. In fact, we're not very good at knowing how to value anything. We have to be taught all of it. Okay, this is very important for you to understand. It's hard enough to figure out what something that we can see and something that we can touch is worth. Never mind something intangible like information. If you want to sell information and coaching for high prices, then you must learn how to explain the value of what you're offering, which we're going to do in a moment. So let's say that I'm offering a video series. And in the video series, I've got 10 one-hour videos that teach you how to market your business better online. And let's say that I'm selling these 10 videos for $1,000. Now, I could explain the price in one of several different ways. Right? One way is I could say, you get these 10 videos for $1,000. Another way is to say, you get these 10 videos for $100 a piece. But those don't really sound particularly compelling, do they? The next level of translating and explaining value is to explain what went into the videos and then relate that to the price or the investment. So I could say it this way. It's taken me 51 hours of research, preparation, writing, recording, editing to create these 10 videos. If you tried to hire me to create this program, I'd charge you at least $10,000 to do it. But because I'm going to allow several people to take this class, you're going to get all 51 hours of training, all this experience, all my work for only $19.61 per hour. All right, now that's pretty cool, much better. I'm framing it in terms of the hours that I've put in and comparing it to the price. But the next level of explaining, okay, this is even better. This is far better, really. The next level is to say, in video number 1, I'm going to teach you how to create your first marketing video in as little as 2 hours of your own time. Now, most people take weeks or months to create their first video. This training is going to save you probably hundreds of hours. Now, even if your time is only worth $20 an hour, the first video, what you're going to learn in this first video alone, will save you at least $2,000 worth of your time and weeks or months of wasted effort. In video number 2, I'm going to teach you how to get businesses and individuals with big lists to sell your product for you. And just think, if you create a product or you have a product that sells for $200 and you can get just 10 business partners to sell 10 copies each, you'll make $20,000 in sales. Now, even if you pay your partners half or $10,000, you still have $10,000. So this one video alone, video number 2, it's going to be worth many, many times your investment for the entire program. So do you hear the difference? By just explaining the value in terms that are easy to understand, the second and the third examples, right, they communicate far more value. They're much more likely to get you high prices for your information. So now we're going to do a pair of exercises that are probably the most powerful exercises that you can possibly do when you're creating information and you're trying to sell it for high prices. In the first video in this series, you learn to ask yourself what you know that'll solve a problem that a large group of other people are having, right? We're becoming problem-oriented, problems that we can solve. In the second video, you learn the difference between a suggestion and a solution, right? And you did an exercise to identify a solution or a niche key for your prospective customers and create a technique or a system that you can teach them to solve their problem. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take that solution that you identified in that last exercise, and first we're going to create a system. We're going to create a step-by-step system to solve that need, to create that solution, and we're going to format it in a way that you can talk about so it has high perceived value. And then next, we're actually going to translate the value of this system into terms that your prospect can understand and that'll make them want to really pay high prices. So go down below this video now and download the 2 PDF exercises. Okay, go download them right now and print them out. You might want to print them out at 95% size on your printer so that they fit completely on the page. Okay, so pause the video now, print those exercises out, and come back as soon as you've got them. So the first exercise is called How to Create an Information Magic Formula. Right? And let me share what's on this exercise. Information doesn't sound like it has a lot of value. Systems have more perceived value. But the average busy person doesn't want to invest a ton of time learning a bunch of random information or trying to wade through a bunch of trivia to get to the solution they want. Even more, they want their solution packaged up into a magic formula with simple action steps that deliver the result they want predictably and consistently, with as little risk and hassle as possible. Use this exercise to organize your solution into a magic formula that you can present to prospective customers that instantly communicates that it will deliver the results that they want. First, your solution. Write down your solution. What's the solution to your prospect's biggest problem? Take the information from the exercise you did at the last video if you watched it. If not, just write down what is really the solution to your prospect's biggest problem. Next, 3 steps. We want to combine our knowledge, whatever it is that we're teaching, and we want to put it into 3 simple action steps. So I want you to ask yourself, what are the 3 specific action steps that your prospect needs to take or use to solve their problem? Okay? So let's say that you're teaching someone who's in $10,000 in credit card debt how to get out of credit card debt. You might write down the 3 action steps. Okay? So the first action step might be to get a debt consolidation loan. The second action step is to cut up your credit cards and not use them anymore. And then the third action step is to make sure and pay off this debt consolidation loan on time, and you can ultimately pay off your debt in half the time. And third, step 3 is I want you to name your system. Come up with a name for your system. And I'd like you to use this formula, the 3-step system for, and then just put whatever the result is that your prospect's going to get. So for example, your system might be called the 3-step system for eliminating your credit card debt in half the time, or the 3-step system for losing up to a pound of fat per week, or the 3-step system for getting a date within 24 hours. Now, listen to what we've done here. Okay, we've taken a simple solution, we've broken it into 3 action steps. Okay, not rocket science here, but they're 3 action steps that if your prospect takes them, they get the result. Okay, you really want to make a magic formula. If they do these 3 things, they'll get the result. But then, the real power here, we name the system, a 3-step system. And when you talk about your 3-step system for getting out of credit card debt in half the time, the perceived value is multiplied not by 1 or 2, but by a factor of 10 to 100. Okay, so that's the way that you format your information up so that it has very, very high perceived value. And you can use this if you're creating a book, a product, right? You could call your book Get Out of Debt Fast, the 3-step system for getting out of credit card debt in half the time. And then the whole book could be cut into 3 sections. And the first section is how to get a debt consolidation loan. The second section is how to get rid of your credit cards once you've got it. And the third section is how to make sure you pay off your payments on time. And you can do this with anything. When you've formatted your information into a system that has steps and a name, you increase the perceived value by a factor of 10 to 100. And now in the second exercise, we're going to learn how to translate the value of your system, translate the value of it into terms that someone can understand so they'll want to pay a high price for it. So take out the next exercise, how to translate the value of your system. And let's go over it. As we learned, humans don't know how to value information very well. They need the value explained to them. In order to explain value, you need some kind of framework that connects what you do with what they value. In this exercise, we're just going to translate the value of the system that you're offering into 3 currencies. Okay, we're going to translate it into money, time, and work. By translating it into 3 different types of value, you'll get a big insight into how to explain the value of your systems along with your products, your advice, and your coaching so that others will pay you high prices for them. So in the first part of the exercise, write down your system. Okay, so write down the name of your system right here, the system that we're going to be translating the value of. And then what we're going to do is we're going to translate the value of your system or your product in box number 2. And let me give you an example of how to translate the value of something into money, into time, and into work. So if I've got a product that I'm selling on how to get out of credit card debt, and I want to translate the value of this product into cash terms, okay? Let's say that the average credit card debt is $10,000. I think it's something like that. I might say, if you currently owe $10,000 in credit card debt and you pay minimum payments, the system that I'm about to teach you is going to save you $17,421 on average in cash compared to the way that you're paying your credit cards off the way you're doing it right now. So in this case, we might be talking about getting a debt consolidation loan, which will allow you to make bigger payments on the principal and you pay it off faster and you've done all the math, right? That is very compelling to say that what you're going to get in here is going to save you $17,000. Let's try a different translation. Let's translate it into time. I could say, if you owe $10,000 in credit card debt and your current income is $50,000 per year, using our system, okay, this 3-step system, is going to save you an average of 3 full years of your life spent earning money to pay it off. Wow, that's a totally different way of thinking about it, right? If I buy this product and I do what it says inside, I'm going to get 3 years of my life back. Now let's try putting it in terms of work. Okay, we could say, if you owe $10,000 and you currently earn $50,000 a year, which is $25 an hour, then you're going to work an average of 6,000 hours more doing your job to earn enough money to pay off your debt than if you just use this simple 3-step system that you're going to learn inside of our product. Now I'd like you to take a couple of minutes and really ask yourself, okay, really use some creative thinking here. How is your solution worth money to your prospect? How is it worth money? How is it worth time? And how is it worth work? And by the way, we're just practicing here. We're using money, time, and work as 3 different currencies. You could put it into other currencies if you wanted. You could put it into acceptance by a member of the opposite sex, or you could put it into increased energy. We're just using our creative thinking skills right now to put it into the most powerful currencies that really motivate people, which are money and time and how much work or hassle they're going to have to put in. So, let's say that you're selling a natural weight loss solution. You might ask, well, how is the person going to save money by using my solution? Well, they might spend less money on food. right? They may be going out to eat a lot right now, and by eating at home, they're going to spend less money. Or maybe they're going to eat less food, and that's going to save them less money. I don't know. And then you have to ask yourself, how do they save time? How do they put this into terms of time? Well, maybe the prospect that you have is going out to eat 3 days a week and spending a lot of time to go out to eat. And what this is they make all their food at home, and they make in 2 settings of an hour each, and maybe they're going to save 5 hours a week of their life. In work, same thing, right? How much work are they putting in to earn the money, to buy the food, etc.? So how do you translate your system into money saved or money gained, time saved or time gained, or work saved or work gained that you can put to something else? Okay? Brainstorm those and write them down. You'll get big insights. And then finally, in step 3, you need to introduce the idea and just use this simple phrase. Let me explain how this is going to help you. Okay, it's very important that you introduce your translation in terms of how something is going to help a person. So I might say, let me explain how this system is going to help you. Or let me explain how my 3-step system is going to help you. If you owe $10,000 and you currently pay minimum payments, my system is going to save you $17,000 in cash compared to paying your credit cards off the way that you're doing it right now. So first, identify the system that you're going to translate the value of. Second, translate it into terms of money, time, and work. And then third, say, let me explain how this is going to help you. When you take these 2 skills, okay, these 2 techniques that you've learned, how to create a magic formula and then name it, and then how to translate the value of that system into terms that your prospect can understand, that's how you create and translate the value of an information product or advice or coaching that you can sell for very, very high prices. And that's how you create information products that literally sell themselves. Okay, great. I got one final update for you. The Guru Blueprint program is going to be opening for registration on Tuesday, June 1st. Keep your eye on this blog and on your email for all the details. And finally, do us all a favor, go down below in the comments and leave us a note and tell us what you learned. Okay, what's your big insight from these exercises and what are you going to do with it? Okay, it was great doing these exercises with you, and I'll talk to you again soon.